So thank you, Kate, and I cannot tell you how proud I am to be a Northwestern alum. But I'm also a Northwestern uncle, and I'm a Northwestern dad. And the quality that I just witnessed over the past hour, I shouldn't be surprised, but I was very, very impressed. And it's so fun to see this, because I've always felt that way. And the fact that my sister's two boys and my own son came here, one of the reasons they came here was not just the great reputation of Northwestern. It wasn't just because they got recruited and were offered to play baseball here. But they saw the effect that my teammates had on me their whole lives. They saw the relationship that I still have today with my teammates from, yes, 40 years ago. This weekend is my 40th reunion. I've been to every one. I challenge you guys to go to every single reunion that you can. You know why? Because your life teammates will be there. Those teammates that sat in the dugout with you, sat on the sidelines with you, went through the crazy workouts, had to deal with the crazy coaches, had to deal with the seemingly unfair academic pressures. I had to take an exam in the locker room of Purdue before a game. That shouldn't happen. But you know what? I'm glad it did, because it differentiated me. And as I moved on after baseball, it made me simply better because of what I did here and because of the relationships that I forged here. And I've always been so proud of that. But one thing that I didn't realize what was going to happen as a result of these relationships was the unbelievable role that my teammates and my friends had to pull me through a tragedy that I would have never thought I'd be able to overcome. When my 15-year-old son, my oldest child, the person who made me the greatest thing I could ever be, a dad, when he took his life in our home in Atlanta in 2010, I didn't know how I was going to get through this. How does a boy living in my happy, loving, successful home lose the will to live? How does a boy who's the captain of his lacrosse team, who is an accomplished musician and songwriter and a good student, and he was the leader and consultant of his friends, how does that happen? You can imagine the devastation. And I remember thinking that the concept of suicide and mental illness was something I never really thought about. It doesn't happen in my side of the world, if you will. That weekend when he passed, people started coming out of the woodwork about depression and mental illness in their lives. And people that I knew really well. And they would talk about their brother and their parents or their teammates or roommates. And I was like, I've known you for 10 years. Your brother took his life and you never told me? Oh, we don't talk about it. And I remember thinking, why doesn't anybody talk about it? Why didn't Will say anything? We all thought he was perfect. We had no clue. I was a hands-on, loving, glass half full dad. I had no idea. His two brothers had no idea. His little sister had no idea. His mom had no idea. We were this happy, loving home, and it was devastating. And I remember that whole weekend thinking, why didn't he talk about it? I don't know. I didn't understand. And that weekend, people came out of the woodwork, and I started to learn about mental illness and the fact that 1 in 5 of us here suffer from it. And that it's treatable, and it's beatable, and it's really common, and it is, yes, curable, and it's okay. But you got to talk about it. And I remember thinking, how can I get people to talk about it? I had 3 more kids. Will was 15, Tommy's 13, Mikey's 11, and my daughter's 6. How do I get them to talk about it? And that he died on a Friday morning, and on Monday, I'm giving the eulogy. I'm standing up here like this, giving the eulogy for my son, which a father should never have to do. And we're in this church, and there's 2,000 people, and his whole lacrosse team is there on the left-hand side, and they're in their jerseys. And they're big, strong, strapping young men, and they're sobbing because their buddy, who they just hung out with Thursday night, killed himself Friday. And as I'm talking to them about Will was this type of kid that truly rejoiced in the success of his teammates, which, by the way, is an incredible trait that is often overlooked. I was a pretty competitive guy. I got to play pro ball. I got to play 7 years. I got to pitch in the big leagues. By the way, if you Google me, I wasn't very good. You'll be disappointed. But boy, did I have a lot of teammates. And I'm talking that I was that kind of teammate that wanted the ball. I'm the pitcher. Give me the ball. I'm on the ball. I'm the guy. Will wasn't that way. He was happy to make the pass. He was happy to see his friends succeed. Now I find myself, I figure all those years, those 15 years he was alive, I wanted him to be like me, and now I'm trying really hard to be like him. It's really interesting. During that eulogy, I started to pick out my friends. There's Eric Magentel. There's Paul Tickey. There's Mark Slattery. There's Grady Hall. There's Bob Jusky. Northwestern baseball teammates from 30 years before. Traveled all over the country to be there for me. These were the guys that I sat in the dugouts with. I learned about life with. I experienced my first with, my life friends. These are the guys who are godfathers to my kids. These were the guys that stood up at my wedding. My life friends, my life teammates. And I met them all when I was a teenager. And during that eulogy, it hit me what I was going to do. I now knew it. And I'm speaking about Will, but in the back of my mind is I'm going to create a foundation that teaches kids like Will that true love and hope and understanding is sitting right next to them in the classroom right here. You guys have met some of life's greatest friends, and they're going to be there for you. I hung out last night at the Lucky Strike bar right next to Wrigley Field with 30 guys I went to college with. It was like we never left. They know my kids' names. I know their kids' names. It's powerful. And I want you guys to recognize that and rejoice in that fact that you have met friends that understand you. And who best to talk to than someone who truly understands you? So I'm going to create a foundation that gets kids to talk to the people in their lives that it's most easy to talk to, their friends, their teammates. And they're going to create this culture where it really is okay to not be okay. We parents don't like to see our kids not okay. We need to fix it. We need to fix it now. We need to fix it by dinner. Not once did I say to Will, wow, this is hard. I didn't have to get straight A's in AP classes to get into Northwestern back in 1980, let alone the University of Georgia in 2010. I didn't have to make a travel team when I was 11 in order to play high school baseball. I didn't have this, right? People say the difference between the big leagues. They ask me, what was the difference between pitching in the big leagues and the minor leagues? I said, well, in the minor leagues, if I gave up a home run, all 500 people in the stands knew that I sucked. In the big leagues, there were 40,000 people there, and they were screaming at me, and it was in every single newspaper in America the next day. That was my version of this. You guys wake up every morning, our kids wake up every morning knowing that if they fumble, everybody they've ever met is going to know about it by dinner. The opportunities are so much better now, but they're coming at a younger age, and it is hard. You all have it hard. You have it harder than I did when I was your age. You have it harder than your coaches did, than your parents did, than your teachers did, than your counselors did, than your athletic directors did. It is hard today. but realize that there's people here, these teammates that understand you. And I'm so impressed with that. And I challenge you guys. I challenge you guys in 3 ways. What I saw this past hour was really impressive. I want you guys to be confident, right? Whether you sign to play in the WNBA or whether you get drafted, I want you guys to be confident. Whether you make All-American, because you are impressive. And there are so many students right out here that never did get to sit in a team meeting, never did get to lose a heartbreaking game, never did get to have a come-from-behind win, never got to experience the exaggerated highs and the exaggerated lows of Division I sports, and especially Division I sports at a school like Northwestern, where you are taking exams in Purdue's locker room at 2 o'clock on a Thursday. So be confident in yourselves. The second thing I want you to understand is the power and the understanding you have of what it takes to be a great teammate. Those teammates that are going to be there for you. You have been on competitive teams. When you're out in the real world, there's going to be so many other people that never really experienced those highs and lows that you experience, and that is going to make you a better teammate. And I promise you, you are going to be on lots of teams, and it's going to be so important. And thirdly, the power that you all have to deliver hope to each other. You want to increase your will to live? Deliver hope to somebody. Show them understanding. Be that senior who helps that freshman. Because you are going to have teammates that are going to struggle. I'll use a baseball analogy because that's my comfort zone. Bennett's gonna have a day where they win 10-4, and you're gonna have a teammate that went 0-4 with 4 strikeouts. That's hard. You're gonna have a game where you win 10-9, you're gonna have a pitcher who gave up 6 earned runs in a third of an inning. That's hard. But you understand that. So be there for him. Be there for that teammate, those younger ones. Show them the understanding that they need to hear. This NU for Life program, I'm so impressed with it, right? And I didn't even realize that my son went through it. And he met some of my teammates when he did it. Who's dead? Do you know Everett Cunningham? Yeah? Oh, by the way, Everett Cunningham was the CEO of GE Healthcare. I didn't know that. That's a customer I've been trying to get after for 20 years. You just talked to Everett Cunningham? Yeah, it was an NU for Life thing. By the way, his wife won this award last year. So guess what I did? I called Everett Cunningham. I said, dude, I didn't know you were there. I wasn't networking enough. Use this. Use this understanding that exists in the NU for Life program. When these kids today meet these, later on today, they're going to meet alumni that understand them. This is the thing that was so interesting to me, the power of understanding. Will didn't think I understood him. He knew that I loved him, but he didn't think I understood him. I didn't show that. I do now. And I think that's the challenge when I look at the coaches. These kids have it hard. Show them that you understand it. They still have to do it, but have them do it together. It's very powerful, guys, and it's very exciting. And to think that from a tragedy, we've been able to come up with this concept of a life teammate. Who are your life teammates? And do they know? When was the last time you said to somebody, hey, if you were ever in trouble, you'd call me, right? You know I'm here, right? Create that culture where you're showing understanding that life, like cross country, like baseball, like fencing, like football, like basketball. Did I miss any? Like soccer? Sorry, Jeezy. Life, like all of those sports, is hard, and sometimes you need a friend to get you through it. You guys be that friend. This is your senior year. Be that leader, be that life teammate that shows these guys the power they have and gals to deliver hope to each other. You do that, it'll improve your will to live. And I am just, as you can imagine, how honored I am that this concept of life teammates that took this foundation, which has become my therapy over these 14 years. It basically began right here. And last night at my friend's house, I was with 3 pitchers and a first baseman of that 1984 team. We laughed, man. We had fun. Not once did we talk about the score of a game. We talked about the relationships we have and the people that we were with. And that's what this is all about. That's what makes it so special. So I want you guys to just remember that. You have an advantage. You understand how to overcome failure. It's the beauty of this. So I challenge you guys to do it, and I challenge you guys to do it in a way that you're leading this group here at Northwestern to understand the power of being a great teammate. You do that, your program and this athletic department is just going to continue to grow. And Mark, I challenge you to help them create this culture where it's okay to not be okay and be there for each other, because life, like all of these sports, is very hard. Getting this award through the NU Life program and Dave and the fact that it's here at Northwestern, I do bleed purple. I have a purple jacket, for heaven's sakes. It means so much to me. And yesterday was a very, very special time. So I want to thank everybody, and I wish you guys all the best. You've made me very proud to be an NU alum. So go get them. Challenge yourselves to be that kind of teammate that delivers hope. I love you guys. Thank you so much.